The bridge of the ESS Harmony buzzed with nervous energy as 9 alien ambassadors filed through the sliding doors. Captain Jake Morrison straightened his uniform and forced a smile. He had been in space for 20 years, but nothing prepared him for hosting representatives from species that traveled between stars when his grandparents still used paper checks to buy groceries. The first through the door was Ambassador Vexnoth, a towering Kreltak that stood nearly 8 feet tall. His 6 eyes moved independently, each one examining different parts of the bridge. His translator made his voice sound like static mixed with gravel. "So this is humanity's finest vessel," Vexnoth said, his tone dripping with what the translator helpfully labeled as contempt. "I've seen cargo haulers with more impressive technology." Dr. Lisa Bennett, the ship's chief science officer, stepped forward. At 34, she was one of the youngest people ever to earn 3 PhDs. Her hands shook slightly as she held her datapad. "The Harmony represents cutting-edge human engineering," she said. "Our fusion drives can maintain 0.95 light speed for months without..." "Fusion?" A Threxani ambassador clicked its mandibles in what Jake suspected was amusement. "We abandoned that technology 5,000 years ago. Do you still use wheels too?" Jake felt his jaw tighten. The tour had barely started, and already these cosmic snobs were talking down to his crew. His first officer, Commander Alex Chen, gave him a subtle nod. "Stay calm, follow protocol." "Perhaps we could show you our propulsion systems," Jake said, keeping his voice level. "Chief Engineer Sam Green has made some remarkable modifications to increase efficiency." The group moved to the engineering deck. Sam, a 45-year-old Texas native with grease permanently under his fingernails, proudly displayed the gleaming fusion reactor core. "This baby can output 50 terawatts of sustained power," Sam said, patting the containment field. "We've enhanced the magnetic bottles with our own." A Drathnor ambassador interrupted with a rough snort. "Terawatts? Our shuttlecraft generate petawatts, and we don't need these primitive magnetic fields. Haven't you mastered dark matter containment?" Sam's smile faltered. "Well, we're still working on that particular..." "Still working," Vexnoth repeated, recording something on his holopad. "Make a note. Earth technology remains in early developmental stages." Lisa stepped closer to Jake and whispered, "Sir, we're rated 2,347th in the Galactic Technology Index. They've made that very clear." The number hit Jake like a punch. 2,347th out of 2,350 known spacefaring civilizations. Only 3 species ranked lower than humans, and those were barely out of their Stone Age. The tour continued through the ship's laboratories, where Lisa demonstrated their quantum computing systems. "We can perform calculations at 2 exops?" A spider-like being from Nexus Prime clicked its chelicerae. "Our personal entertainment devices run faster than that." In the medical bay, Dr. Rachel Park showed them the surgical suite. "Our regenerative medicine can heal most injuries within days." "Days?" Vexnoth's translator conveyed surprise. "Proper medical technology works in microseconds." At the weapons station, Alex proudly displayed their latest plasma cannons. "These can deliver 500 megajoules per pulse." "Megajoules," another ambassador scoffed. "When you reach gigajoules per pulse, perhaps we'll consider you capable of self-defense." 2 hours into the tour, Jake had heard enough. Every system they showed was dismissed as primitive. Every innovation was met with condescension. His crew's shoulders slumped lower with each criticism. Finally, they reached the observation deck. Earth hung in the viewport, a blue marble that somehow seemed smaller than before. Jake cleared his throat. "I know our technology might seem simple to you," he began, "but we've come a long way in just 200 years. We've gone from propeller planes to interstellar travel. We cured cancer. We solved energy poverty. We united our planet." Vexnoth's 6 eyes focused on Jake. "Yet you still use fusion drives. Still use chemical rockets for planetary takeoff. Still need years to travel between stars. The Galactic Council assigned me to assess whether Earth deserves observer status. Based on this tour, I'm inclined to recommend humanity remain classified as pre-industrial." "Pre-industrial?" Alex stepped forward. his military training barely containing his anger. With all due respect, Ambassador, we've colonized 7 planets and built orbital cities around gas giants. With technology my species used for children's toys 10,000 years ago, Vexnoth interrupted. The Council sent me here because some optimistic members thought perhaps humans had hidden potential. I see now they were mistaken. Lisa pulled out her data pad again. Wait, we're also working on dimensional physics. We've made breakthroughs. That all 9 ambassadors laughed. The sound came through their translators as various forms of mockery. Chirps, clicks, buzzes, and static. Dimensional physics? Vexnoth managed between what passed for chuckles. Let me guess. You've theorized about folding space? Perhaps you've even managed to detect the 5th dimension. We've actually mapped interactions between 6 dimensions, Lisa said quietly. And we're close to understanding the 7th. Laughter stopped, then started again louder. 7 dimensions? A crystalline being that looked like living glass chimed in. My dear Primitive, there are 11 dimensions. Any species that can't manipulate all 11 has no business discussing dimensional physics. However, Vexnoth added, if your species actually believes it can work with 7 dimensions, please by all means continue this fantasy. The Council enjoys hearing amusing stories from developing worlds. He turned to the other ambassadors. I believe we've seen enough. The tour has been most educational. As the aliens filed out of the observation deck, Jake heard fragments of their conversation through translators. Did you see their computer systems? Like something from a museum. And their medical technology. They still cut people open. 7 dimensions, how quaint. Next they'll tell us they've discovered magic. The bridge doors closed behind them, leaving Jake alone with his senior officers. The silence felt heavy. Sir? Sam finally said. They're right about some things. Our tech is primitive compared to theirs. That's not the point, Alex countered. Their attitude doesn't matter, Jake interrupted. What matters is that somewhere out there, human colonists and explorers are counting on the Harmony to be Earth's finest, whether these aliens respect us or not. Lisa stared at her data pad, her fingers hovering over locked files marked Project Athena. Jake noticed but said nothing. Some projects were classified even from him. Meeting dismissed, Jake said. Tomorrow we continue our patrol route. And I want reports on every system improvement we can make. If they want to call us primitive, fine, but we'll show them that primitives can be damn resourceful when they need to be. As his crew filed out, Jake remained by the viewport, watching Earth slowly rotate beneath them. The planet that launched itself into space in the same century, it learned to fly. The planet that united under one government after centuries of division. The planet that refused to be told what was impossible. He didn't know it yet, but in 2 weeks a distress call would come from Kepler 438b. Pirates would attack a human colony. And the galaxy would learn that sometimes, the most primitive species had the most dangerous secrets. For now, though, he just stared at Earth and wondered if the aliens were right. Was humanity really so far behind? Or were they missing something humans could see? The soft hum of the Harmony's systems filled the bridge. Somewhere deep in the ship, beyond the fusion cores and quantum computers, Lisa Bennett worked on equations. That would change everything. 7 dimensions. The aliens had laughed at 7 dimensions. Jake smiled to himself. Let them laugh. He had a feeling they wouldn't be laughing for long. 2 weeks after the disastrous tour, Jake sat in his office reviewing crew schedules when the emergency alarm pierced the silence. 3 sharp bursts followed by a long tone meant only one thing. Distress call from a human installation. All senior staff to the bridge, Jake ordered through the comm. He grabbed his jacket and ran. The bridge was already buzzing when he arrived. Communications officer Kevin Walsh had a grim expression as he worked at his station. Captain, we've got an emergency transmission from Kepler 438b, Kevin said. The colony is under attack. Pirates? Alex asked, entering right behind Jake. Worse, the Zornak Consortium. Kevin played the garbled transmission through the speakers. This is Mayor Patricia. Colony under... Static interrupted the words. Zornak ships, no warning, civilian targets, need help. The transmission cut to screams and explosions before going dark. Jake felt ice in his veins. The Zornak weren't just pirates, they were organized criminals who worked contracts for different galactic powers. Someone had hired them to hit a human colony. Distance to Kepler 438b? Jake demanded. Sam pulled up the navigation charts. 470 light-years, sir. Even with our fastest FTL drives, we're looking at 3 months travel time. 3 months? Lisa had just entered the bridge. The colony has 3,000 people. They can't hold out 3 months. We have to try, Alex said, already calculating. Jump coordinates. If we push the drives past recommended limits, we might save 2 weeks, Sam finished. Still too long. Jake stared at the navigation display. 3,000 humans, including hundreds of children. By the time they arrived, the Zornak would have either looted and left or turned the colony into a graveyard. What about the Galactic Council? Kevin suggested. They have ships with quantum tunneling drives. They could be there in days. Jake nearly laughed. You were on the tour. They think we're barely evolved apes. They won't risk their precious ships to save a primitive colony. Sir, Lisa spoke up, her voice strained. There might be another option. Everyone turned to her. She clutched her datapad like a shield. Project Athena, she said softly. I think it's time. Jake's heart skipped. Project Athena was classified above top secret. Even Alex, his first officer, didn't know details. Only 7 people in the entire fleet had access to those files. My office, Jake said. Lisa, Sam, Alex. Everyone else prepare for emergency departure. Standard FTL drive for now. In his private office, Jake entered a 30-digit code that unlocked a hidden safe. Inside lay a single data cube marked with Earth's classification, symbol, and a warning. World-changing technology, eyes only. Sir? Alex looked confused as Jake handed Lisa the cube. Alex, what you're about to learn cannot leave this room, Jake said. The survival of the colony depends on it, and maybe the future of humanity in space. Lisa inserted the cube into the secure reader. Holographic equations and schematics filled the air, complex mathematical formulas that seemed to bend and twist in impossible ways. For 2 years, a team of physicists at Ceres Lab has been working on this, Lisa explained. The aliens were right about one thing. They can manipulate 11 dimensions. But they were wrong about humans. She manipulated the hologram, showing a core of crystalline structures. We can't safely manipulate dimensions 5 through 11. The math doesn't work with our technology. But dimensions 1 through 7? We cracked it. Sam whistled low. 7 dimensions. That's what you were talking about during the tour. The aliens laughed because they think the only way to manipulate dimensions is through exotic matter and quantum entanglement. Lisa continued. They use brute force. We found an elegant solution. She showed them simulations of space folding, not just in 3 dimensions, but through 7 layers of reality. A ship didn't just move through space. It existed simultaneously across multiple dimensional planes. Instead of pushing through distance, we fold distance itself, she said. The ship becomes a dimensional object that can slide between layers of reality. Alex stared at the math. How fast? Distance becomes almost meaningless, Lisa replied. To reach Kepler 438b, we'd fold the 470 light-years down to essentially 0. Travel time? Less than 5 minutes. Impossible, Alex breathed. That's what the aliens would say, Jake replied with a grim smile. Sam, how quickly can you retrofit the Harmony's engines? Sam was already studying the schematics. The framework's there. We've been building reactors that could handle this kind of power load for 6 months. Called it future-proofing. I can make the modifications in 6 hours. Do it. Lisa, prep the crew for dimensional passage. Alex, ready our weapon systems. If the Zornak are still there when we arrive, they're in for a surprise. 6 hours, and 47 minutes later, the Harmony hung in space with its modified core humming at frequencies that made Jake's teeth ache. The crew was on edge. Nobody had ever attempted 7-dimensional travel with a human vessel. All stations report ready, Alex announced. Lisa stood at a new station, the dimensional navigation console. Holographic displays showed 7 layers of spacetime, each one twisted and connected to the others. Coordinates locked for Kepler 438b, Lisa said. The math checks out, sir. In theory. In theory, Jake repeated. Through the viewport he could see stars. Normal stars in normal space. In moments they would attempt something the galactic powers thought impossible. Initiate pre-sequence, Jake ordered. The ship's lights dimmed as power redirected to the new core. A sound like crystal chimes filled the air, rising in pitch. Core charging, Sam reported. Energy levels climbing, 50%, 60, 80. Dimensional matrices stabilizing, Lisa added. Her hands danced across controls that hadn't existed on any human ship before. We're starting to resonate with multiple dimensional frequencies. Warning, Captain, the ship's AI announced. Structural stress detected. Hull integrity at 92% and falling. Jake gripped his chair. Continue charging. Sir, Alex warned. If we push too hard? Core at 95%, Sam interrupted. 97, 99, 100%. The crystal chimes reached a crescendo. Through the viewport, Jake saw stars begin to blur and smear. Reality itself seemed to bend around the harmony. Engaging 7-dimensional drive, Lisa announced. Her voice was steady, but her hands shook, folding spacetime in 3, 2, 1. The universe went white. Jake felt like he was being stretched across infinity and compressed to a point simultaneously. For a fraction of a second, he could see everything, past, present, and possible futures, all at once. He saw Earth from space, saw his crew as children, saw the colony on Kepler 438b still fighting, still alive. Then reality snapped back. The white faded to stars, different stars. Jake's head spun as his mind struggled to process what had happened. Status. Report, he managed to say. All systems nominal, Alex replied, sounding amazed. Hull integrity at 95%, minor stress fractures but nothing critical. Dimensional shift successful, Lisa announced with a shaky smile. We're exactly where we wanted to be. Position confirmed, Kevin added. We're in orbit around Kepler 438b. Travel time, 4 minutes, 37 seconds. Through the viewport they could see the planet, and more importantly, they could see 3 Zornak ships bombarding the colony's shield generators. Battle stations, Jake ordered. Let's show our galactic friends what primitive humans can do when we're properly motivated. As the Harmony powered its weapons and headed toward the enemy ships, Jake allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. The galaxy had laughed at humanity's primitive technology. They weren't laughing anymore. 3 days after the battle at Kepler 438b, gravitational disturbances rippled through multiple star systems. Scientific instruments across the galaxy detected dimensional echoes that shouldn't exist. Within a week, the Galactic Council received thousands of reports about humans using impossible technology. Jake stood in the observation lounge of the Harmony, watching as repair crews fixed damage from their dimensional combat. The colony below was recovering, but the real storm was just beginning. Captain, Lisa entered, holding her data pad with shaking hands. We're receiving over 200 communication requests from different species. The Kreltak are demanding we appear before the council immediately. Let them demand, Jake replied. We saved human lives using our own technology. We don't answer to them. Before Lisa could respond, the ship's AI announced, incoming transmission marked as Priority 1, Origin, Sol System. Jake frowned. Priority 1 meant direct from Earth Command. Put it through. Admiral Catherine Ross appeared on the view screen. She looked tired but proud. Captain Morrison, congratulations on your successful rescue operation. Now about this technology you used. Admiral, Project Athena worked beyond expectations. I know, Jake, and so does everyone else. She sighed. 3 species have requested diplomatic meetings about technology exchange. 2 others have filed what they call violation of dimensional laws with the Council, and the Kreltak ambassador has been sitting in my office for 6 hours demanding explanations. What's our official position? Jake asked. That humanity has developed this technology independently and will not share it based on demands or threats. We will, however, discuss controlled cooperation with species who treat us as equals. Lisa leaned forward. Admiral, the scientific implications alone are enormous. We're detecting that our dimensional shifts create gravitational ripples that affect nearby space. We might need to establish protocols. Already being drafted, Dr. Bennett. But first, we need to handle the political fallout. The Drathnor Empire just announced they're sending a battle fleet to Earth. They claim we've violated the greater laws of physics and must submit for inspection. Jake felt anger rise. They're sending warships because we developed something they couldn't? They're not alone. However, we've also received support from unexpected sources. The HFY Science Collective is fascinated rather than frightened. They're offering cooperation in exchange for joint research. There's a tide turning, but it could go either way. After the transmission ended, Jake gathered his senior staff. We need to prepare for everything. Sam, how quickly can we produce more dimensional capable ships? The modifications can be installed on any vehicle with an antimatter reactor, Sam replied, but we only have parts for 3 more conversions. Weapons status? Jake asked Alex. We learned a lot from the battle. The dimensional weapons are incredibly effective, but we need to map safe firing angles. Some trajectories could destabilize space-time in populated areas. Lisa pulled up a holographic display. I've been analyzing our battle performance. We only used about 30% of the 7th dimension's potential. There's so much more we could do. Kevin interrupted from the communication station. Sir, incoming transmission. It's Ambassador Vexnoth. He's requesting private communication. Jake raised an eyebrow. Put him through. The Krelltak ambassador appeared, his 6 eyes showing what the translator marked as embarrassment. Captain Morrison, I owe you an acknowledgement of error. An acknowledgement? Jake couldn't hide his amusement. My government has reviewed your battle data. 7-dimensional manipulation with quantum bridging through crystalline matrices. We never considered that approach. Our scientists spent millennia pursuing 11-dimensional theory. You found an elegant solution we missed entirely. We learned from being underestimated, Jake replied. Indeed, I am here to inform you that the Krelltak Empire officially upgrades Earth's status from developing system to emerging power. We would like to discuss technological exchange. After the transmission ended, Lisa grinned. Did the galaxy's most arrogant ambassador just admit he was wrong? Pride matters less than survival, Alex observed. The Drathnor are coming with warships. If the Krelltak are backing us diplomatically, it might give them pause. 2 weeks passed in a blur of diplomatic messages, scientific requests, and military preparations. The Harmony remained at Kepler 438b, both protecting the colony and studying their own dimensional technology. Then the alert came. Unknown vessels dropping out of FTL at system edge. Jake raced to the bridge. Identification? 9 ships, Kevin reported. Drathnor signatures, military configuration. Hail them, Jake ordered. His crew took battle stations automatically. A Drathnor general appeared on the view screen, his scarred face fierce. Human vessel, you will stand down and submit to inspection. Your dangerous technology threatens galactic stability. General, this is Captain Morrison. The Harmony operates under Earth authority. We will not submit to inspection. You will comply or we will make you comply. Jake smiled coldly. You're welcome to try. But I should mention, the Krelltak Empire has recognized Earth's sovereignty, and the HFY Collective is sending their science fleet to study with us. Are you sure you want to start an interstellar incident? The general hesitated. Political calculation replaced aggression in his features. The Krelltak have recognized. You worked with them? They recognized reality. We're not the primitive species you can push around anymore. This is not over, human. The Drathnor do not forget. The transmission ended. The 9 ships held their position at the system's edge, neither attacking nor leaving. Standoff, Alex observed. They want to fight, but they're calculating political costs. Days of tension followed. During that time, the HFY science fleet arrived, 7 research vessels eager to study human dimensional technology. On the 3rd day of the standoff, the Kreltak sent 3 battleships to the system. "This is Ambassador Vex Noth," the Kreltak announced on open channels. "Earth colony Kepler 438b is under Kreltak diplomatic protection. Any attack will be considered an act of war." The Drathnor held position for another day, then withdrew. Jake watched them leave with mixed feelings. "We've survived the first crisis, but this is just the beginning." "Sir," Lisa said, "I've had an idea. What if we offered selective knowledge sharing? Not the complete technology, but dimensional physics lessons. Create a new community of species who work with 7 dimensions. An alliance of equals rather than submission to superior powers," Alex added. "The dimensional cooperative," Kevin suggested. "Species who advance beyond traditional limitations together." Jake nodded. "Let's make it happen. Draft a proposal. Open membership to any species willing to contribute and respect sovereignty. No more rankings, no more mockery." Over the next month, momentum built. The Thexari joined immediately. 3 smaller species, tired of Kreltak and Drathnor dominance, applied for membership. Even some individual Kreltak scientists, impressed by human creativity, requested permission to join the research effort. The Harmony returned to Earth a month later to a hero's welcome. The dimensional technology was being carefully released, enough to intrigue potential allies, not enough to arm potential enemies. In a message to the crew, Admiral Ross summarized their achievement. "You've not only saved a colony, you've changed humanity's place in the galaxy. We're no longer asking for seats at the table. We're building a new table." As Jake accepted commendations and prepared for humanity's expanded role in galactic affairs, he remembered the mocking laughter of the alien tour group. That laughter had turned to respect, fear, and for some, genuine admiration. The galaxy would never underestimate humanity again. The primitives had proven that innovation could trump arrogance, that creativity could surpass established wisdom. And somewhere among the stars, stories spread of the impossible humans who mastered 7 dimensions. The species that wouldn't accept limitations. The primitives who changed the laws of war, physics, and diplomacy in mere weeks. The galaxy had laughed. Now it was learning. The Harmony emerged from its dimensional shift directly above the battle. 3 Zornak warships, each twice the Harmony's size, were pounding the colony's shields with plasma fire. On the surface, fires glowed in the gathering twilight. "Red alert," Jake ordered. "Weapons hot. Kevin, hail those ships immediately." "Aye, sir, they're responding." A harsh voice came through the speakers, speaking broken English. "Human vessel, you arrive in private battle zone. Leave now or be destroyed like colony." "This is the ESS Harmony," Jake replied. "You're attacking Earth citizens. Surrender immediately." Mocking laughter filled the bridge. "Human ship cannot hurt Zornak. Our shields made by Kreltak military. Your primitive weapons do nothing." "Sir," Alex reported, "the colony's shields are down to 40%. They're targeting civilian sectors now." Jake felt rage burn through him. "Lisa, can we use our dimensional technology for defense?" "I've been thinking about that," Lisa said, fingers flying across her console. "If we phase shift our hull through multiple dimensions, weapons fire might pass right through us." "Might?" Alex questioned. "No time for might," Jake decided. "Lisa, engage phase shifting. Sam, prepare for evasive maneuvers. Weapons, target their lead ship." The Zornak vessels turned toward the Harmony. Their dark hulls bristled with weapon ports that began glowing red. "They're firing," Kevin warned. "Phase shift now," Jake commanded. Lisa's hands moved across controls she'd only tested in simulations. Initiating dimensional phase shifting, shifting in progress. The bridge rippled as if underwater. Through the viewports, the stars became multiple images, shifting between dimensional layers. Jake felt nausea as his body seemed to exist in 2 places at once. Plasma bolts from the Zornak ships reached the Harmony and passed straight through, distorting as they encountered the dimensional field. The attacks hit empty space where the ship had been milliseconds before. "It works!" Lisa shouted triumphantly. We're partially phased between dimensions. Their weapons can't hit us. Then let's give them something to worry about, Jake said. Fire all forward plasma cannons. The Harmony's weapons charged and fired. Blue-white plasma bolts streaked toward the lead Zornak ship. But something strange happened. The bolts didn't just travel through space. They folded through dimensional layers, taking impossible paths. Direct hit, Alex announced as explosions rippled across the enemy ship's hull. But sir, we shouldn't have hit them at that angle. The phase shift affects our weapons too, Lisa explained excitedly. We can fire through dimensional space. Our shots can bend around their shields. The Zornak ships were trained warriors, but this was beyond their understanding. Their next volley of fire passed harmlessly through the dimension-shifting Harmony. Target their weapons systems, Jake ordered. Let's even the odds. The Harmony danced through space, its hull flickering, between solid and translucent as it moved through dimensional layers. Plasma bolts curved through impossible angles, striking where conventional physics said they shouldn't. The second Zornak ship tried a different tactic, launching quantum torpedoes that followed subspace trajectories. Torpedoes incoming, Kevin warned. They're using subspace guidance. Then let's give them multiple targets, Jake decided. Lisa, can you create dimensional echoes? Maybe? Lisa's hands shook with adrenaline and concentration. If I cycle through the dimensional frequencies fast enough, we might leave traces in multiple space-time layers. Do it. The Harmony began to flicker rapidly. To the Zornak sensors, the ship appeared in 6 places at once, each image solid, but slightly out of phase with the others. The quantum torpedoes, confused by multiple valid targets, exploded harmlessly between the false locations. Third ship is turning to run, Alex reported. Their captain is screaming about impossible human magic over open channels. Pursuit course, Jake ordered. Sam, can we push the dimensional drive further? We can do a micro-jump, Sam said. Short-range folding, just enough to catch them before they reach their FTL point. Make it happen. The Harmony folded space again, but this time deliberately kept part of itself anchored in normal space. To the fleeing Zornak ship, the human vessel suddenly appeared directly in their path, materializing from empty space. The collision alarm screamed on both ships. Hard to port! The Zornak captain's panicked order came over intercepted communications, but it was too late. The Zornak ship couldn't turn fast enough. At the last moment, Lisa had a wild idea. Sir, permission to try something crazy? Always, Jake replied. Lisa concentrated on the dimensional controls. Initiating partial phase shift on the enemy ship. Green energy crackled around the Harmony's emitters as they projected the dimensional field outward. The Zornak ship began to shimmer. Half their hull stayed solid while the other half became translucent and ghostly. The pirate ship tried to maneuver but couldn't. Half their systems were phased into dimensional space where they couldn't function properly. Their engines sputtered and died, their weapons powered down. Phase locked, Lisa announced. They're caught between dimensions, they can't move or fight. The first 2 Zornak ships had stopped firing. Their crews were too shocked to continue the attack. The Harmony had destroyed their understanding of physics in less than 10 minutes. This is Captain Jake Morrison, Jake announced on all frequencies. Zornak vessels, you have 2 choices. Surrender now and we'll release your ship from phase lock, or your crew can spend eternity caught between dimensions while we contact your government. Silence followed. Then, reluctantly, we surrender. Smart choice. All ships, lower your shields and prepare to be boarded. Kevin, contact the colony. Tell them help has arrived. As his crew began managing the surrender, Jake turned to Lisa. That was incredible work. Dimensional phase shifting, echo projections, even trapping another ship between realities. You turned impossible theory into working practice in the middle of combat. Lisa wiped sweat from her forehead. The math worked. It actually worked. We just fought a battle using 7 dimensions as our battleground. Sir, Alex added, we didn't just win this battle. We changed warfare itself. No shielding technology in the galaxy can stop attacks that come through dimensional space. Sam nodded in agreement. And our defensive phase shifting makes conventional weapons obsolete. The aliens won't just laugh at us anymore. They'll do more than stop laughing, Jake said, watching the disabled Zornak ships. They'll fear us. And they'll want this technology. Through the viewport, the colony's lights flickered back on as backup generators restored power. Human settlers emerged from shelters, looking up at their savior ship with relief and wonder. Mission accomplished, Jake declared. But our real challenge is just beginning. The galaxy will learn about this battle. Every species that called us primitive will want to know how we did it. Some will want to trade for the technology. Others will want to take it by force. Lisa was already making notes on her data pad. I'm detecting gravitational anomalies. We might have left traces of dimensional disturbance that physics ships can detect. They'll know something happened here that shouldn't have been possible. Then let them know, Jake decided. Let them all know. The laughingstock of the galaxy just mastered 7-dimensional warfare. If they want to keep underestimating humans, that's their mistake. As the Harmony prepared to dock with the colony station to deliver aid, the crew felt a mixture of triumph and trepidation. They had saved the colony and revealed humanity's secret weapon. Now they would have to face the consequences. In the depths of space, unknown to the Harmony's crew, a Krell-Tak observation drone had witnessed everything. Its AI was processing combat data that should have been impossible. The signal would take months to reach the nearest Krell-Tak outpost. The galaxy was about to receive very interesting news. 6 months after the first dimensional combat test, the Drathnor Empire made their move. They caught everyone by surprise, including their Krell-Tak rivals. Jake was in a meeting with Earth Command when the alert came. Priority 1 alarm. Drathnor. Battle fleet detected entering Sol system. Multiple contacts. At least 30 vessels. They said they wouldn't forget, Jake muttered, remembering the general's threat. He ran to the command center where holographic displays showed approaching ships. They're bigger than our intelligence reports, Admiral Ross said grimly. Each of those battleships is 5 times the Harmony's mass. Jake studied the tactical display. How many dimensional-capable ships do we have operational? 7, including the Harmony, Ross replied. But against 30 battle-hardened warships. 8, Lisa interrupted as she entered. Dr. Park just finished converting her research ship. It's not armed, but it has the strongest dimensional reactor we've built. Still terrible odds, Alex observed. He'd been promoted to Rear Admiral but stayed with the Harmony's crew. Numbers don't mean much when physics changes, Lisa countered. She pulled up new equations. I've been working on something, dimensional cascade theory. If we link multiple ships through resonating frequencies, Jake grinned. Theoretical as always, Dr. Bennett. But we don't have a choice. Admiral Ross, give us authorization to try Lisa's idea. The 7 human ships gathered at the outer edge of the solar system. The Harmony led the formation, with 2 other retrofitted warships and 4 modified research vessels. Lisa had worked for days to program the dimensional resonance protocols. Alliance ships entering range, Kevin reported. The HFY science fleet is requesting permission to help. They say they want to test their own dimensional modifications. Permission. Granted, Ross ordered. Tell them to follow the Harmony's lead. The Drathnor fleet dropped out of FTL in perfect formation. Their ships bristled with weapons that made humanities look like toys. The lead dreadnought hailed them immediately. Primitive. Humans, the Drathnor commander snarled. Your dimensional tricks end now. Surrender or we burn your system to ash. This is Admiral Ross of Earth Command. Leave our system or face the consequences. You dare threaten the mighty Drathnor Empire? We shall show you true power. Jake moved to the tactical station. Lisa, activate the cascade link. All ships engage dimensional resonance on my mark. The human ships began vibrating at specific frequencies. Harmonic waves spread between them, connecting their dimensional fields. The HFY ships, following instructions, added their own resonance patterns. Cascade building, Lisa reported. Energy levels rising. We're creating a network of interconnected dimensional fields. Drathnor ships are opening fire, Alex warned. Plasma beams and antimatter torpedoes streaked toward the human formation. But something unexpected happened. As the weapons entered the resonating dimensional field, they didn't just pass harmless through. They were redirected back at their origins. "It's working," Lisa shouted. "The resonance is creating a dimensional mirror. Everything they fire bounces back at twice the velocity." 3 Drathnor ships were torn apart by their own weapons. The rest ceased fire, confused by impossible physics. "Phase 2, Jake ordered. Dimensional displacement strike. The connected ships coordinated their dimensional fields. Reality itself seemed to bow inward toward their formation. Then, with a sound like reality breaking, they displaced a section of spacetime. The Drathnor ships found themselves suddenly shifted 20,000 kilometers to their left, completely disoriented. 2 collided in the chaos. Others fired their maneuvering thrusters in panic, trying to understand how they'd been moved without traveling. "Impressive," Lisa said. "But let's show them something really new. Initiating multi-dimensional physics. Transformation." The resonating human and Thexari ships created a bubble of altered physics. Inside this zone, the fundamental constants of reality changed. Gravity fluctuated wildly. Light took impossible paths. Matter itself seemed uncertain. The Drathnor ships caught in the bubble struggled to function. Their carefully calibrated weapons misfired. Their shield generators fluctuated between dimensions. Their navigation systems showed them existing in multiple places simultaneously. This cannot be." The Drathnor commander's voice was filled with disbelief. "Your scans show 7 ships. We have 30 battle-tested dreadnoughts." "You have zero understanding of our capabilities," Jake replied. "You called it primitive. You promised to teach us true power. Are you getting the lesson?" More Drathnor ships tried to break from formation, but the dimensional field kept pulling them back. Some fired escape pods. Others simply shut down their systems, overwhelmed by physics they couldn't comprehend. Suddenly, new contacts appeared on sensors. "Kreltak fleet dropping out of FTL," Kevin announced. 20 vessels headed this way. Here to help their former enemies, Alex wondered. The Kreltak answered for themselves. Ambassador Vexnoth's face appeared on all screens. "Attention, all vessels. The Kreltak Empire recognizes Earth sovereignty and innovative superiority. Drathnor fleet, you are in violation of Council space law. Surrender immediately." The tide turned completely. The remaining functional Drathnor ships found themselves caught between dimensional physics they couldn't fight and former allies, now protecting their enemies. "Commander," the Drathnor general finally transmitted. "We acknowledge defeat. How do we exit this field?" "Easy," Lisa said cheerfully. "Just ask nicely." The physics bubble dissipated. The Drathnor fleet, some ships damaged but all intact, regrouped in Earth's outer system. Their commander appeared on screen again, his fierce pride broken. "I underestimated you," he said simply. "The Drathnor accept that humanity has surpassed traditional warfare. We request consideration for war prisoners and salvage operations." Jake consulted with Admiral Ross briefly. "War prisoners will be treated fairly under Earth law. You may recover escape pods and disabled ships, but your weapons must remain powered down until you leave our system." After the Drathnor retreated, the Kreltak remained. Vexnoth requested a private meeting with Earth Command. "Ambassador," Admiral Ross greeted him. "We appreciate the support." "It was logical," Vexnoth replied. "My people recognize innovation. You've proven dimensional warfare capabilities beyond anything we predicted. The Dimensional Cooperative now has over 20 member species. Even my government seeks to join. When they stop thinking they deserve leadership based on age alone," Jake added. "Agreed," Vexnoth conceded. "Pride delayed our progress. You mastered 7 dimensions while we clung to 11-dimensional theory that requires technology we never achieved." The meeting ended with historic agreements. The Kreltak formally joined the Dimensional Cooperative, contributing their advanced manufacturing to help humanity mass-produce dimensional ships. The Thexari established permanent scientific exchanges. Even some Drathnor scientists already, working in secret, applied for research positions. 3 months later, Jake stood on the bridge of the Harmony, now serving as humanity's first dimensional battlecruiser. Earth had been offered a permanent seat on the Galactic High Council. The vote had been unanimous. Even the 3 species below humanity's former rank had voted yes. "Sir," Lisa reported from her science station, "I'm detecting dimensional ripples from the Andromeda Galaxy. Someone out there is experimenting with 8-dimensional physics." Jake smiled. "The galaxy keeps teaching us there's always more to learn." Kevin glanced up from communications. Message from Earth. "The first human colony ship with full civilian dimensional drive is ready for its maiden voyage. They're naming it the ESS Renaissance." Appropriate choice, Jake mused. That evening, alone in his office, Jake looked at a framed image on his wall. It showed the alien tour group, Ambassador Vexanath laughing at humanity's primitive technology. He remembered their mockery, their arrogance, their dismissal of human potential. He thought about the Dimensional Cooperative, now humanity's gateway to teaching and learning from 27 different species. He thought about the Thexari, who told everyone that human creativity exceeded their own systematic approach. He thought about young scientists from a dozen worlds coming to Earth to study 7-dimensional physics. The galaxy had laughed at humanity's primitive fusion drives, basic computers, and chemical rockets. They'd ranked humans as 2,347th out of 2,350 spacefaring civilizations. Now human ships sailed through folded dimensions while others still struggled with conventional physics. Earth's colonies expanded using technology that revolutionized space travel. Human scientists collaborated as equals with species that had spent millennia in space before Earth's first satellite. Jake picked up his coffee cup and raised it toward the image on the wall. "Thanks for the motivation," he said to the frozen moment of alien arrogance. The galaxy had laughed. Now it took notes. And in the vast cosmic joke of existence, humanity had delivered the perfect punchline. Never underestimate the innovative power of the underestimated. In Earth's classrooms, children learned that being called primitive wasn't an insult. It was a challenge to innovate. In alien academies, teachers explained how humans achieved dimensional breakthrough not despite their late start, but because of it. Fresh perspectives, they realized, often generated the most elegant solutions.